Hello, my name is Emily Walsh. I'm with the League of Women Voters of Utah, and this is a quick tutorial about bills, the different kinds of bills, how to track bills, how to find bills. And before we get started on that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the League of Women Voters. The League of Women Voters of Utah studies and makes recommendations on issues relevant to our communities. It is our mission to provide nonpartisan voter information for Utah residents. The League of Women Voters does not support or oppose political parties or candidates for office. So to get started, you're going to want to go to le.utah.gov. This is the state legislature's website. This is the home page. A couple places you can find bills at the moment. Obviously right here where it says bills, and right down here right now, anyway, under resources, there are different places to find bills. These all lead back to right here. So I'm just going to focus on that tab. So different search options for bills. There is bill request, and you want to make sure you're in the right session. We're going to just do the upcoming session, and you can have it display all legislation or past bills. And since the session hasn't started, nothing has passed. And you can look it up by senator or representative. Just real quick, we'll look one of them up so you can see what it looks like. So this is Senator Andereggs. He has one bill that's been numbered, and it looks like he has several in process, and he has one that he is a floor sponsor. So floor sponsor means it's a House bill, that's the HB. And if it passes the House, then it needs a sponsor in the Senate, and Anderegg would be that sponsor. And since he's a senator, his bills will all start with SB, which stands for Senate bill. Let's go back. You can look up by subject. And let's just do anti-discrimination. So there's one anti-discrimination bill. And right here where it says track, you can click right there to track a bill if you would like. If you want to look at the bill, you hit the link right there and it pulls up the bill and you can look through it. So requesting committee, if you want to know bills by committee, we'll just look up the Administrative Rules Review Committee. It looks like they requested and recommended 2 bills. You can see over here I'm currently following those because they're check marked as tracking. And like I said, you just click on this link and it'll take you to that bill. Let's go back here. Keyword search is a great way to look up bills. Sometimes you know a bill by subject, but it might not be specifically listed that way under subject in the bill request. But just to be simple, let's just do a simple, we'll look up tax. Make sure you click on bills because all categories will bring up Utah code and you don't want to have to look through tax code to find tax bills. And there's multiple pages. Let's look at this one, sales, use, and tax exemption amendments. So right here where it says bill text, tells you what's going on over here. And it's the text for the bill. Looks like it's a pretty long one, so we won't go through it. And on this right-hand side tells you more information about the bill. Up here, you have status, tells you the status of the bill, a little color coding so that you know where it's been. And hearings and debates. So once the session starts and this bill starts being heard in committee and debated on the floor, those audio files will show up here and you can listen to those. Let's go back to bill text. Real quick about the text of the bill. As you can see, it has its title, sponsor, House sponsor, and committee notes, general description. This is a little bit about the bill right here. And over here, the bill sponsor is Senator Stevenson. It's a Senate bill. So Senate bills are always sponsored by senators. House bills are always sponsored by representatives. If it passes the Senate, it needs a floor sponsor over in the House. And that would be Representative Eliason. So if House bills pass the House, they need floor sponsors in the Senate. Then it talks about who the drafting attorney is, the fiscal analyst, bill tracking. There's a little button here. I'm already tracking this. But if I wasn't, I'd just click track this and it would track the bill for me. If you want to do an email notification, you can put your email in right here and click subscribe. We'll talk about the tracking page in a minute. Bill text, this is how the bill was introduced, and as substitutes come up, if there are substitutes, they'll appear right here. Related documents, this has a fiscal note. And the fiscal note, before you pass the bill, you want to know what the bill is going to cost. So any sort of cost would be right there. And then this agency perf note is, will it result in a new agency or a new program? That's also something they want to know before they pass the bill. And right here is a list of similar bills and sections affected. So this is the code that's affected by this bill. And let's go back out here. You'll find, so once session starts, you can look up bills in committee, past bills, effective dates, sections affected by past bills, tracking service. Let's look at tracking service real quick. I'm tracking bills, a lot of bills, but just so you can see that you can click on these and remove them, clear them, enter a bill number, add to list, remove from list, clear list, track latest. It's a great way to track bills. Track by legislature takes you back to that bill request. And track by committee goes back to that same place. Track by code, however, takes you right here. And I want to track, I know what code I want to track. I want to track 20A. And I'm going to add it to my list. So bills affecting title, election code. So that's what I want to track. Go back out here to bills, customize the bill report, the reading calendar. Reading calendars more when we actually are in session. So this 2018 general session is numbered bills. You can look up bills by number, and you'll notice they're named differently. We already talked about Senate and House bills. That's where those bills originate from. But you'll notice that there are resolutions. So the difference between a bill and a resolution. Bills are proposed statutory enactments, which means they can become laws. They change code in some way. And resolutions are expressions of intent or position and generally have no force of law, with the exception of joint resolutions that amend the Utah Constitution. And the force of law they have is that if they pass, the lieutenant governor has to put that constitutional amendment on the ballot in the next election. And just so you know, so far there are two of those. There's one in the House, HJR3, and one in the Senate, which is SJR2. And talk about the different kinds of resolutions. A simple resolution would be one that's just titled House Resolution or Senate Resolution, and it only has to pass the legislative body that it originates from. Joint resolutions must be passed by both the House and the Senate. And then concurrent resolutions must be passed by the House and the Senate and be signed by the governor. And that's because those express the position or intent of the state. And so it would need the House, the Senate, and the governor. So let's take a look. We already looked at a bill, but if you want to see one of these, what they look like, the amendments, this proposal to amend the Utah Constitution. It's pretty short. And if you want to look at that more later, you can, but you can see they're listed by number. So if you hear the number on the radio or on TV, or you read it in the newspaper and you happen to remember it or write it down, you can look it up by the number. Well, I hope you found this tutorial helpful, learning how to track, find a bill and the differences between the bill. If you are interested in finding out more about the League of Women Voters of Utah, you can go to our website at lwvutah.org, and you can find information about our local leagues and our studies. You can also join the league there. And I hope you found this worth your time. Thank you.